Ken Wargenden, thanks so very much. I'm Dave Little, and this is In the Sulky. My guest tonight is a face very familiar to harness racing fans. Tim Tetrick, welcome to the set. Thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Great to have you, Tim. And I tell you what, you won a race here last Saturday. Your first trip to the Winner's Circle at the Meadowlands since the middle of November. What's the matter? Where you been? You don't like us anymore?
No, it's not that. I just wanted to take a little time off, enjoy my family, and take a little me time.
Yeah, so
recharge the batteries.
Yeah, I mean, you just took a little time, but obviously, while you were taking a little time, you've been driving steadily at Dover Downs. You just won your third consecutive driver title there. And from where I sit, Tim, for the handicappers, the shippers from Dover tend to do very well when they ship into the Meadowlands. Why do you think that's so?
Well, they've got good horses. There's good owners that come out of Delaware, and they buy good horses a lot of times. And, Delaware, sometimes the mountain's a little fake down there, but there's some good horses down that race, and they race pretty tough. So when they come here, they're pretty much competitive.
I mean, how do you account for the fact, to me, I'm always really on top of the Dover shippers. It seems that the miles go so fast there for a 5/8 mile track.
It's a fast track. If we race there in the middle of summer, non-winners at twos, we'd go 48 there. It's a very, very fast track.
You recently became the 7th driver in history to pass the 12,000 win plateau. Now, there you sit, 39 years of age, so you're the first one to do it before the age of 40. Let's take a look at a graphic I put together with some of your more impressive statistical background. I tell you what, it is pretty impressive. First and foremost, of course, your 12,000 victories, over 60,000 starts, and obviously on the all-time hit list, you're 7th all-time in wins and 3rd all-time in earnings. What means more to you, being a dash winner or being a money earner?
I'm about the money.
You'll take the money.
The wins are special, and if it wasn't for the wins, you wouldn't have the money. But being that 3rd on that list is, and being on the doorsteps of history, that's pretty cool.
You're one of only a handful of guys who have over $200 million in earnings, and the all-time leader, John Campbell, $299 million. Certainly it appears that, barring anything unforeseen, that you'll pass the $300 million mark at some point. Is that something that you think about?
Well, I never did, but it's it gets closer and closer, and it's it's just amazing that I could even compete with that record. But it looks like if I could stay healthy, I do have a little baby shot of maybe doing that.
Now, the thing of it is, when you were a young kid, about 25, 26 years of age, you won an awful lot of races. You set the all-time single season record of 1,189 races when you were just 25 years of age. So the question for me is, now, what would Tim Tetrick at 39 years of age say to Tim Tetrick at 25? Hey, slow down, this is too much?
I would have said, go harder. Why'd you quit doing what you were doing and, make hay while the sun shines? So, at that time it was a little bit different. There was a lot of tracks racing during the day, and I could still get to where I needed to be. And, with all the purse monies that were so high, it was just a time to go chase and go get it. And at that time, I really wasn't on the Grand Circuit yet. And, and I was hungry, which I'm still hungry today, but it was a different time in my life.
Well, speaking of the Grand Circuit, you've had quite a few special horses in your career, but I'm sure one of the most special is a horse you drove and part owned for Jim and Joanne King. Of course, we talk about the great Chartin N. Let's take a look at her 2 Hambletonian days ago when she became the fastest mare in the history of the sport.
Yeah, this is just amazing. I'm getting chills right now thinking about it. Like, she was just put away even today, and I know I could have got another half second out of her, no problem, and she just coasted to the wire. I remember turning for home, and I called on her, and it felt like a jet airplane just getting ready to take off. It was pretty cool.
What was the greatest, thing about her? Was it her toughness? Was it her quickness? What was the one characteristic that set her apart?
All the above. She was gutsy as they come. She had great big lungs, and, she could just go really damn fast, so all them things together make a great horse, and she was one of the best.
I mean, it's really quite incredible. I was just doing some notes before we came on camera. She was the first Horse of the Year winner to be born outside of the United States. Pretty incredible.
Pretty hard to believe. There's been a lot of Horse of the Years, and for her to do that and a mare well, and but she's a dominant mare of her time, so I was very happy to be part of her career.
She was obviously bred in New Zealand. That's why the Chartin N. Also, if her name had been Chartin A, that would be Australia. Why do you think a lot of the down under horses come here and do so well?
Well, I think they just give them more time to develop over there, and a lot of them, when they get here, I think Chartin only had 8 or 9 starts, so she was still a young horse, and they're just a little bit different, and she got here and we added Lasix, and she just really, really took off. And she was a high-quality mare down there, but she liked the mile racing, and, her speed could just dominate in the mile racing.
Now about 20 minutes ago, I made a phone call to someone very special to you, Joanne Looney King. and she makes everybody smile when they hear her name. And she said, and I said to her, why get in bed with Tim Tetrick? What is so special about him? And she just kind of said, well, who wouldn't want to have Tim Tetrick drive their horses for them? What is your reaction to being involved with Joanne and Jim?
Jimmy and Joanne, they're great partners. They run a great barn. They take super care of their horses, and they pretty much live in that barn. They're there all day long. So what they get, they deserve, and they're hard workers. And I'm just glad they let me ride their coattails.
Well, the fact is that you own horses with them, and Joanne did say that there are times when you say to them, "Hey, this horse is worth taking a shot with." What about Tim Tetrick, the owner? It's something that we always know you as a driver, but now you want to get into owning of the horses as well. What is, how did you sharpen your eye to become a good owner?
I get that from my dad. He taught us how to make money on a very tight budget. So you watch and you try to find one, that diamond in the rough that, you give little money for and you can double or triple your profits. So always keep an eye out. And I got horses that I watched over 3 or 4 years. It might take 5 years to finally get the one I want, but you just got to be there and be ready, and hopefully somebody's mad at that horse and you can be there at the right time.
All right, let's circle back to you as an owner in just a bit. Another relationship that has resulted in plenty of big wins is the one that you have with Hall of Fame trainer Linda Toscano. Let's take a look at the stretch run of the 2012 Hambletonian, your only Hambletonian win. It must have been a real thrill.
That's my biggest win of my career, $1.5 million race, and anybody that's in harness racing wants, whether you're anywhere you're from, they want to win the Hambletonian, and I got it done with a great story. The horse was a $17,000 yearling, and he made it all the way to the Hambo and got the job done.
How does winning one Hambletonian stack up against 5 Meadowlands Paces?
They're also special. I've been second, I think, 2 or 3 times in the Hambo as well. So, Meadowlands Pace has been a great race for me. I've gotten to pick up some really nice horses and win that race, quite a few times. So, hopefully I'm not done with that race either.
All right, well, you say quite a few times. How about 5 times in 11 years? Lightning round for Tim Tetrick. Give me a couple of words on each of the 5 winners. Huntsville.
He was just super talented, so fast, and big rugged colt, and he could carry the mail.
He's watching.
He's probably the fastest horse I've ever driven for a small piece. When he won the Meadowlands Pace, he was shot out of a rocket down the lane. Just at the 7/8 pole, I knew I was a winner, and I was raising my hand all the way down the lane. It was a cool race.
Captain Treacherous.
Probably the all-around one of the best horses I've driven. Just day in, day out, get the job done, and he just refused to lose. I kind of remind myself when I watch Fold again compared to him.
One more laugh.
He was the blue-collar horse. He's McCardle, and he just ended up getting the job done. Ray did a great job with him, and he wasn't the best horse, but he found a way to win.
Now, Southwind Links, 2007, you're in the midst of having maybe the greatest season a driver's ever had, and there you are winning the Meadowlands Pace. What about Southwind Links?
George Teague says I'm the luckiest white person ever. He said when I win that race, it wasn't supposed to happen, and, that horse just got lucky, and the inside rail opened up, and I used it, and we got the job done.
All right, moving forward, there's obviously a very good living to be made for you as a driver. Yet I see your name on 17 horses. That's what my research displayed as an owner for the upcoming season. Don't you have enough on your plate? What's the attraction for a guy like you to own horses?
I've owned horses since I was 13 or 14 years old with my dad, and I remember going to the fairs, and my dad would always give me and my brothers one horse, and we got to make whatever we did there. And at the end of the year, you make 2, 3, 4, 5,000. It's a bonus. So, and I've got a few brood mares, and I love going to the yearling sales and picking out 1 or 2 bargain prices, and I've had a little luck doing it, so I enjoy it, and it's just something I like to do, and I love training babies and watching them grow and get better.
All kidding aside, obviously you have an awful lot of time driving horses. Where do you find the time to do all that other stuff?
There's times I'll go down early to Jimmy's on my Dover days and help train some, and I'll go up to Scotty Domenico's barn and help train, and I like to train. I think it's fun.
During 2021, there are some horses worth mentioning that you'll be driving. But first, during 2017, you drove a horse for Linda Toscano, who very well might have been one of the greatest horses anyone has ever seen. Walner started just twice that year and recorded the fastest 2 miles of the season for 3-year-old trotting colts. Were you thinking at the time, this could be the greatest horse I ever drive?
Absolutely. I'm so sad people didn't get to see what that horse could do. I know he'd win 48, no problem, and just, he was as fast as any horse could be and so gifted.
How about driving some Walner babies? Are you aware of any that you'll be handling?
I'm excited. I only trained one for Tony Alagna when I was in Florida, but, I've heard very good reports from all the trainers, and hopefully I can tie on to a good one.
All right, 2021, you're going to be driving some high-powered stock this year. Let's start with a couple. Let's start first with Jim and Joanne's Lions Sentinel. What do you see for her this year?
Well, if it wasn't for Ryder's mare last year that Dex drove, she's a great mare. She did everything right, made $1 million at 2, and she raced all year right with the best of them. I think if she can adjust to the 4-year-old year, I think she'll be fine.
Backstreet Shadow, obviously, is a horse who raced well last year. So far this year, the returns have been good.
Oh, absolutely. He won his second start at Yonkers in 51, and he's one of them hard-knocking free-for-alls that's going to be at the wire all the time with those big boys.
A Breeders' Crown champion from last year, a 3-year-old trotting filly by the name of Next Level Stuff. What can you tell us about her?
She was super pleasing last year. She was kind of, ride the rail and get lucky when she was racing against the top ones, but if she did find room, she always exploded like she did in the Breeders' Crown.
All right, so that's a little bit of a look at what's ahead for Tim Tetrick in 2021. Now, before we let you go, Tim, I want to talk about tonight's 10th race. It is the featured pace on the card. Non-winners of $15,000, a purse of $22,500. You upset the apple cart last week with U.S. Captain, who beat lesser foes from off the pace at 19-1. What do you know? This one was a Dover shipper. What can you tell us about U.S. Captain?
Well, this horse has got a lot of Meadowlands back class. He bought him off Alanya last year, and last year he raced super. I had the 10-hole and just kind of floated, and I just got a really good trip. But this horse has raced at this class before and has gone with them, so I think with a nice trip, I think I got a good shot.
How good a horse can he be during the course of the year? He might not quite up to be the Backstreet Shadow types, I assume?
I don't think so, but I've been proven wrong many times before. So he's very talented. He's well bred, and I've seen a lot weirder things happen.
All right, well, we're going to look for U.S. Captain from Post 5 in tonight's 10th race pacing feature, and that's all the time we have for right now. We could go on for an awful long time to come, but for right now, we're going to say thanks very much to Tim Tetrick for joining us tonight on In the Sulky.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Tim, thanks so very much for being with us. In 60 seconds, Dave Brower's going to jump in Tim Tetrick's chair. Tim's going to get to work, and so will Brower, as he and I will talk about tonight's featured action.